shit's hit the fan with the media with this movie where, politically, what is it trying to say beyond the entertainment aspect of the whole thing, right? Why is this highly advanced civilization still deciding its leaders based upon Mortal Kombat? And I kind of played devil's advocate and argued for the side of utilizing, what's up, peeps? Went and saw Black Panther the other day, and shit's all over the media, you know what I mean? Beyond the entertainment value of the film itself, what is the political agenda at play here? I just have a few bits of beef with the film overall. More than not, I thought it was aesthetically pleasing. There were moments that were magical. Some of the CGI was beautifully well done. The snow looked like not snow, though. I've grown up in a place where it's been snowy like my whole life, you know what I mean? And it's like seeing him lay in that snow, I was like, this shit ain't snow. That's like fucking magic sand shit. I mean, it looked cool. It was like mystical. It looked like little crystals, you know what I mean? But I was like, this ain't snow. Other than that, I thought that the computer-generated images were done very well. And the feeling that the environment gave you was one in which was very pleasant. It almost like took you away to another place that was mystical, magical, and foreign, yet identifiable at the same point in time, so that you could enjoy it without being like bombarding your senses to the point of where it was sensory overload. In which I had an experience like that being in Japan, where it's just like, fuck, you know what I mean? It's like you walk around and it's like you're almost dizzy because it's just, the environment is so foreign that it's hard to comprehend and understand anything when it's just sensory overload. So they did a good job at creating a feeling of, foreignness, but an identifiable nature and aspect to it. Now, beyond all that, I had a few issues with a lot of the shit that was said in the film. Like, for example, I don't really care that there wasn't many white people in the film. I mean, you go to certain places around the globe and there's not going to be fucking a certain type of people. That's just the way that life has evolved on the planet. People are where the fuck they're at, and there's a specific type of people, person, plant, animal, thing there, more so than other places. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. That being said, I had my brother bring up to me the point that it's like, why is this highly advanced civilization still deciding its leadership based upon Mortal Kombat? It seems a little redundant, and contradictory to their advancement. I think that the directors and producers tried to really accentuate the fact that, they were still able to hold on to their identity and their background and their heritage by incorporating these practices into their advanced society. However, it kind of contradicts their advancement to a certain degree. When I was speaking with my brother about this, I kind of argued for, there being a positive side to having feats of a physical nature being incorporated into the political aspect in regards to the leadership of a society and civilization, because I feel as though, to a certain degree, physical feats are in essence a portrayal of the person's stability in life, kind of metaphorically. And you got to kind of stretch your mind to see around the curve a little bit here. But somebody who's on top of their game physically has got to be on top of their game kind of mentally as well, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't even be able to be in the position where they were performing these feats of a physical nature. And they wouldn't be able to overwhelm anybody else physically if they didn't have some mental aspect to their game also. And it's just kind of like incorporating the two feats in one, where you got to be able to be on your feet physically and mentally otherwise neither works type of thing, right? But I kind of agree with him on that a little bit here. The bigger issue to me, though, kind of besides all of that, was the fact that there was subtly, the bigger thing to me, though, was the racially motivated message kind of behind, the film itself. If you're going to make a film about being benevolent and having moral and ethical values beyond race and gender and all this shit, then why is it directed more so towards one specific peoples rather than identifying with aspects of a derogatory nature towards all peoples within or that have ever been within this situation? The film itself kind of paints the picture that there's only one type of individual or person or people to ever have been within this situation. And I kind of feel like, you know what? Why don't they identify with everybody who's been within this situation, which is pretty much historically every single type of person to ever exist, right? It's not necessarily restricted to one group of individuals. I mean, if we go back far enough, we can see that pretty much everybody has been enslaved or poor. And you know what? It almost kind of detracts from the fact that everybody in life can go through hardship and hard times. And what really defines a person is them being able to overcome these things. And then kind of like the cherry on top was at the end when Michael B. Jordan was like, I'd rather fucking just die than try to overcome the mistakes that I've made. It's like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, man? You're just gonna fucking give up and jump ship just because you fucking made a mistake and shit like that, and it's like you're not getting things the way that you want. It's like if everybody was like that, it's like because I'm not the fucking CEO of the fucking world right now, I should just slit my fucking throat and just give up. You know what I mean? And so like, where's the message and all of that? Like, it's like, let's give people fucking weapons and disperse all this shit to everybody, but at the same point in time, we're sending mixed messages here because we're identifying only with our type of people and our culture, when in essence, if we're talking about benevolence here, it should be literally spanning the broadness of humanity itself, in which these experiences are not limited to the type of people that we're talking about here. Why don't you identify with everybody that's been through these experiences, which is then in essence literally everybody? It's not necessarily limited to a certain type of or group of individuals. And then on the other hand, it's just saying like, give the fuck up. Like, if shit's not going your way, like, give the fuck up. Like, all those people that fucking went through all that shit to go through the fucking, slave era of the United States of America, like, kudos for you, and kudos to you, because you've definitely influenced my life. There's like a certain culture which I respect, which has definitely played a role in my life here, which has been brought about by all those people that were willing to go through that experience and not give the fuck up. And because of that, there have been a lot of people that have been able to live a decent life due to the fact that they were willing and able to kind of, disregard the notion that their brothers and sisters back in their homeland sold them into slavery through the sub-Saharan slave trade, the kings of the other tribes and all this other shit, which the movie kind of doesn't necessarily identify that. It's like they say that the only bad people were the ones that were kind of, the shipmasters, but, the Wakandans, if we're going to be real parabolic here, not only did they disregard the fact that their brothers were being sold into slavery, they were the ones who sold their brothers and sisters into slavery because they were the dominant faction in Africa at the time. And it's like, that's historically what actually happened. And if you're going to identify with people that have been enslaved, then why not identify with people of every race and culture? I mean, we can look in the Middle East, we can look in Western European cultures where at one point in time, the majority of the entire region was enslaved by cultures that looked really no different than those that were enslaved, yet they were, because they weren't of proper birthright. And it's like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, you know, just because it's kind of fresh on everybody's mind here and the media really likes to publicize this, and it's like, yeah, it's put a lot of people in a situation where they're kind of out of place, and it's hard and difficult to identify with some sort of past, you know, culturally. But now, in essence, that's all of our past culturally. And, you know, rather than just sitting there always talking about the fucking elephant in the room, there's a lot of other shit in the fucking room besides the elephant. And the more you talk about this other shit, the smaller the elephant will actually become. And it's like, you can see all this other shit that's happened, which is good, you know what I mean? It's like, just because the elephant's fucking there doesn't mean we only have to fucking talk about the elephant all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Or that's all we're gonna see. Yeah, the elephant's in the fucking room, and it's fucking huge as well, because that's all we fucking focus on, so that's all we can fucking see, you know?